Hi, Chris Murray here. I'm going to show you a tip today about using the UVW Map modifier to quickly apply multiple textures to different objects using the same modifier. It's kind of a workflow tip. So I have this Photoshop file where I'm trying to generate objects with all of these various nodes on them. This could be useful for like playing cards, or you're doing a monograph piece where you want to have kind of a card effect. And I have in Photoshop, I have all of these different images in one Photoshop file, but all on different layers. Layers really doesn't make a difference at this point because we're just going to be using a flattened PNG file for this little tip. But this is what the image file actually looks like. And in 3ds Max, I already have one object, a piece of geometry. I already have it textured. It's just a really simple box. And I'll bring it back and take a look at the UVW Map modifier. So what I've done here is I've just applied that PNG texture to this object. And if I zoom out, you can see I'm using the regular UV Map modifier, but I'm using it in bitmap fit mode. So what this means is I go in here and I'll choose this bitmap fit, and what it does is it creates a gizmo that is the same size as the bitmap that I'm using. So when I actually move the gizmo around, you can see that all of the images themselves are the right size, the right aspect ratio, and then all I have to do is just go ahead and scale it up and get it to fit. So let me go ahead and undo that all the way back to where I was. Okay, so now I have this. So now here's the tip. I could just duplicate this image and then have to go in and select each UVW Map modifier. So for example, if I do this, this is one way to do it. I'll just go ahead and move this object. I'll copy it. Right? I'll make a copy, and then it copies over the UVW Map modifier, and I can go in and just slide this over. Okay, that's one way to do it. But then you have, to touch the object several times with a different UVW Map modifier. Here's another more interesting way to do it. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm leaving the UVW Map modifier on here, and I'm actually going to go down to the editable poly aspect, or the editable poly level in the modifier stack, and I'm showing end result. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to select the element. And so I select the element that's this card. Now, if you the card geometry, since I have the UVW Map modifier on, all I have to do is hold down my Shift key and copy the element, the geometry element over, and as I slide it over, you can see that the UVW Map modifier is still in place, and I'm just moving the element over to here. Now, you may see the other objects over there. That's all right. That'll go away as soon as I release it. So we'll say clone to an element, and there it is there. So if I turn this off and go back to UVW Map modifier, oops, let's get out of. There we go. So there it is. So here's the first one, and there's the second one. So I'll go back down here just to confirm that we're doing it. So we'll just copy these over, and I'm just holding down my Shift key and moving them over. So I had 4 there. All right, and I've got, see, there they are down there. I'll go ahead and clone that to element. I'm going to move down here and just position it a little better. And remember, since I'm working in the modifier stack, modifier is order dependent. So I'm down at the bottom of the stack. The UVW Map modifier is still applied to the top. So I can just keep making copies of these clones at the element level. I can make clones of the subobjects is what I'm trying to say. Move those over there. Okay. So now I'm just going to go in and check and tweak my work a little bit. All right. And then as soon as I exit that mode, you can see I now have all of the objects. They all have the same mapping on them. I can just collapse them all, and the mapping is baked into them. And then all I have to do is just detach them, or I can use them as particles or whatever. I don't have to map them all individually. If I'm using it as a particle, it can use, in pflow, it can use the each element as its own particle. So you could, it's a quick and easy way to have multiple subcomponents mapped using one UVW map gizmo. So again, this is Chris Murray, and I hope this helped.